Nothing. The only thing he could probably say is my nails,
Oh,
because they gotta be done.
right. We have a whole conversation here. Oh, this is what happened when you put us together. All right, good afternoon. We Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Super Sisters Saturday. I am your host, Lakeisha, and next to me, of course, is Sister Rashida. Super Sisters Saturday is a day basically dedicated to where we speak about varying topics. We love and support each other as a black family. Black men say good things about black women. Black women get to have an opportunity to say good things about black men. Um, I'm totally just had a brain fart. Once again, I just want to welcome everybody on our panel today with us, as well as going to be Sister Amari, who is the better half of Brother Amari, in the Tribal Unity group. Also, is Sister Lisa Paget Hughes, is also a part of our panel today. And so, Sister Amani, could you go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers, please?
Good evening, good evening, or shall I say good afternoon. I'm Amani Amari. I am the wife of Amar Amari. He is the president and founder of Tribal University, Tribal Unity Organization, and I'm the co-founder of Tribal Unity Organization, along as well as the president of Synergetic Network Group. I just want to say hello to all of our Black Love family out there. And I just want to say peace and blessings to everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Amani. Sister Lisa, could you go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers, please?
So Lisa, you're on
Go
mute.
forth and no, no, now.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Facebook world. I am Lisa Paget Hughes. I am the CEO and founder of Go Forth and Sustain Inc. I am the wife of retired Chief Thomas Edward Hughes, who is my silent better half for Go Forth and Sustain. Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday to you all.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Lisa. I would like everyone that has come on, Sister Bev, thank you and welcome. Sister Tanya, thank you and welcome to Super Sister Saturday. Brother Abdul Salam, thank you. At this time, I would like everyone to share and invite, share and invite. This is going to be a great topic today. And once again, I appreciate everyone for their continued support of Super Sisters Saturday. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Sister Lakeisha. I am a trained chef and also a travel agent. I am a mom and currently reside in Novi, Michigan. And like I said, once again, just happy to be a part of the Super Sister Saturday. Sitting next to me to my left is the other half of Brother Michael Neal, and that's Sister Rashida Shabazz, and she'll go ahead and introduce herself as well to our viewers.
Hi, I'm Rashida. Um, Social service for 15 years, children, as well as juveniles. My family, that's about it. And I'm happy you all came on to discuss this topic with us, and we look forward to answering some of your questions and founding on your responses.
Yes. All right, thank you, Sister Rhonda. Once again, we could we thank you for your continued support. Brother Amari also is joining us. Thank you so much for your continued support. All right, so today's topic is going to be why do Black women have a hard time submitting to a Black man? First, I would like to say we're going to have varying very views and perspective on what it means to submit to a man. And so, Sister Lisa, since you are in front of me now, can you go ahead and tell me a little bit about what you think submission is? Let's talk about what submission is, and then we'll get into why it seems to be hard for Black women to submit to a Black man.
Well, for me, my understanding of submission, the old me, was about submitting to the authority or control of someone. Not understanding that actually, as I've grown to understand, it's more about compliancy and humbleness. So the old me referred to submission as control, authority, full control. And now at 51, understanding it's about humbleness and compliancy.
All right, thank you, Sister Lisa. I appreciate that. Sister Amani, would you like to expound on what your perspective of submission, or what does it mean to you to submit to a Black man?
Sure. First, I need to do a disclaimer. My disclaimer is I do not belong to any religious organization. I'm not, considered or labeled a Christian. I'm not, considered to be Muslim. I'm not considered to be anything. So whatever I say is not going to line up with the doctrine that's being taught in these religions. Sister Lisa said she thought it was a form of control, and I still think it's a form of control. I mean, I really, really do still think of it as a form of control. I looked up the definition in order to gain a little bit more understanding. Can you hear me? Okay, good. I looked at the definition just to gain a little bit more understanding of the word submission. And what I found that it said a state of which people can no longer do what they want to do because they have been brought under the control of someone else. My question is, who signs up for that? Who signs up to be brought under control of somebody else? Meaning now you have to do everything that they say do. You can't think how you want to think. And unfortunately, that's the definition that many out in our community and out in the world take as submission. Even within the church, you submit, you do this and you do that. One of my main goals as a person, even though I was Christian in church, I never wanted to marry a minister. I never wanted to marry anyone in a higher rank because, if I got with a bruh, he had to be, kind of okay. Because my thought is that they would take the Bible, take the verses, and try to control me with that. And me, I wasn't having that. I was not having that. So, and I would say this, like I say, who signed up to be controlled by somebody else? And when I thought about submission, I kind of broke the word up in two different words. You know what I'm saying? Sub and mission. You know what I'm saying? And submission to me is to come under the mission of somebody else. Now, if you don't have a mission, what am I coming up under? You know what I'm saying? What is your plan for yourself? What is your plan for the family? What is your plan for the community? How can I submit up under a mission if you don't have a mission? So one more thing, and then I'll let it go. Then y'all can move on. And to me, it shouldn't be just submission. It should be respect. Now, if you tell me, respect your husband or respect this, that, and the other, okay, you know, when my husband say, look, you need to put some respect on my name, then I know what he's talking about. You come to me and tell me you better submit, I might shut down. So that's all I have to say right now.
Thank you, sister, for that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Sister Rashida, you want to give me?
Okay.
give
So
your
for
thoughts?
me, I can relate to submission as far as the action. So that means presenting a proposal, application, or consideration of judgment. I feel like when you're submitting, if I'm submitting to you, you should be submitting to me. Meaning, you take my thoughts in consideration, I take your thoughts in consideration, and we come to a conclusion. It's not about control for me. It's about yielding to one another, and whichever decision we come to, that's what we do. You don't have to say, hey, you the man, so this is what we doing because you're right. He not always right, just like we not always right. We would love to always be right, but we not. So it's about yielding and understanding one another and working together as a team. That's what submission looks like. Action. It's not control.
Wow. Okay. For me, with the word submission, I think what, like Sister Amani said, we are taking a view that's not necessarily ours. We have the Bible, we have all these other European or Western thoughts of what submission is as far as women. And so I think if you look at us traditionally, Black men didn't have to make their women submit, because like she said, Sister Amani said, you had a vision, you had a goal, and you chose someone to be in your life to help you with your mission and your goals. So you all are already in line. There's no need for you to make her submit. And I think what we need to address is just that when we talk about women have a problem submitting, one, I think women, because we're such spiritual people, more so we look for the God or a supreme being or a higher level in a man. And so when we don't see that, it's very hard to submit to foolishness. Now, I can't speak for all women, because I know there's some out there that ain't, right. I understand that. But I think generally if a woman sees and recognizes God in a man, then she'll have no problem submitting. But you can't try to make the woman of God submit to something less than. So I don't mean that in an offensive way, but I mean brothers have to realize that maintaining and securing a woman where she knows that you got her and she'll have no worry, she will submit and she'll do all of those things out of her love for you, not the needing to. She'll do that. She'll let you know where she's going because she wants you to know that she's safe. She'll cook for you. She'll clean. She'll do all those things for you, and you'll do those things for her. But it's out of her being secure in you being a man with a vision and knowing where you're going, being able to lead and guide her, that will make her okay with submitting to you. But when you got that foolishness going on, nah, that's it. Yeah, it's very hard because the Black woman is a second self of God, and so we have a greater expectation. When you say, I'm the man in this house, I expect you to have a standard about yourself. Keep your word, integrity, honesty. When you don't have those things spiritually and morally, it's very hard for a woman who is seeking God by whatever religion you want to be in, because that's who we are. If you look at us in the religious houses, it's mostly women. Why? Because we're seeking God. That's why the pastor has all of this power and authority, because he's in that role. We're seeking God. And so in the Black community, the pastors are that symbol of authority. Or on the negative side is the drug dealers or whoever running the hood. So we're looking for that. And that's why we're filling the churches and that kind of thing, because we're looking for it. And most of our Black men are not in church. They're not in, they're not seeking any higher level of spirituality or anything like that where you can guide us. Because it takes God in a man to guide us, to guide what it absolutely does. And if you don't have that connection to God, you're not going to be able to control or, have a woman desire to submit to you. So that's my take on on submission. So we have a question. Danisha White asks, so is submitting to the relationship and in order to have a relationship? So do you have to submit in order to have a relationship? Hey, Sister Lisa, you want to answer that? Sister Danisha White asks, do you have to submit in order to have a relationship?
Well, I'm going to piggyback on Queen Sister Amani from earlier. I don't that you would have to submit in order to have a relationship, because it just depends on how you yourself are raised and how you're defining the word submission and whom you're around. As she said earlier, some are still using submissive in the form of control. So I would not say that you have to be under submission in order to have a relationship. That's an individual preference. Sister Rashida, she defined submission as unity. So, I mean, it's your own interpretation, where you're from, what it is you've seen as a person, individual coming up as far as submission. So my answer to that would be no. You do not have to submit to be in a relationship. Now, you have to understand what it is that you need, the visual, in order to go forth in the relationship. So you may have some things yourself you need to work on.
Thank you, Sister Lisa, for that.
Lonnie, is it okay, Brother Lonnie Franklin states, you do not submit your will to man, you submit to the relationship. Sister Amani. You wanna expound on that for Brother Lonnie?
Yeah. To me, again, the word should be respect. And if you're in a relationship, your relationship won't last that long if you're not respecting each other. If you're not respecting the opinions of each other, if you're not respecting the thoughts of one another. One thing I've always said with my husband is, I don't want to change you. You are who you are. I feel like if you snuff out a person's personality, you're snuffing out a part of them that was given by God, and I let them know in the beginning, I can't, change to who you want me to be. I can only be who I was formed to be. So if submission means to change and conform into something that God did not make me, or to drown out my God-given personality, then I can't remember the first portion of his question, but those are the type relationships that I wouldn't want to be in, where I'm being so controlled that I couldn't be myself and I would end up miserable. And that's about it.
All right. So thank you, Sister Amani. Let me see. Brother Scranton. Okay. All right, Brother Scranton Wayne Michael says, a woman can't submit to a half a man. Should no woman submit to a relationship because the relations may defeat her soul in the long run? I agree. I agree. Also, I think there was a question saying, does submission have to be taught? Once again, I think we have to understand, since we're talking about why is it difficult for a black woman to submit to a black man, I think the black man has to understand the nature of his woman from a natural, traditional perspective. We cannot deal in the European Western perception of women, because if you look at, or if you model after them, look at the way that they have treated their women. Their women were no more than property, all the way back to slavery. They were no more than property, period. They had no say, no voice. He could do whatever. So we, as African people, cannot take that perspective to deal with each other on either side, male or female. We cannot take that perspective to deal with each other at all. Oh, Sister Shiva says, if he submits to God, I will submit to him. Exactly. Because once again, black women want a man that they can look up to, not down at. Minister Farrakhan has made that statement, and I wholeheartedly agree. And so it's more than about just being, it's a lot to being a man. And I don't think that's taught as much as it needs to be to black men. Just because you become of age does not make you a man. Man means that you have wisdom, you have understanding, and a real man will know how to handle a black woman. Period. That's just how I feel on that issue. Private Phillips also says a king should not make a major move without consulting his queen. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. Because you're a team. You're a team, and so Minister Farrakhan made that statement in the lecture called "The Keys to Successful Marriage," and he made that statement about Mother Khadijah. He said he listened to her, and he always credits the fact that he is the man that he is today because of her and who she was and how she was taught and how she supported him. So we have to understand that even as if you are the king of your house, you still have a queen, and y'all should be on the same page. You all should consult one another. Why wouldn't you want to consult someone who's going to be supportive of what you're doing? That don't make good business sense. If you have a partner and you're going to do and make decisions and not consult your partner, she may have a perspective that you don't have, something that you miss. You're a team. And so, yeah, you should consult the queen or, the woman in your house. Brother Lonnie says, today men are tired of the errors in church from man, so we are not going to submit to the church. Well, Brother Lonnie, I wasn't suggesting that you submit to a man in church, because for one, I'm going to say this, black men, you God. It's in you. It ain't nothing that God can do that a black man can't. That's just me. Whatever religion you want to be in, that's just me. There's nothing what makes God God is he can say, be it is. So a black man can do that. Whatever's in your mind, you can bring into fruition with your hands and your mind. So I'm definitely not asking you to submit to another man in that manner, because men have egos. And so you all are naturally competitive as well. So yeah, for you to sit up under a man who doesn't have integrity, doesn't have all the things that you aspire to be, of course, that's going to be very difficult, because most of us look at, pastors and ministers as pimps, and, they just, pretty much just kind of reaping the benefits and not doing anything for the people. So yes, it would be very difficult for you to submit to that type of thing. So that was not what I'm saying is, when I made that statement, was that women are there looking for that power and authority that comes from God. And so if men are not there, or not in any school of thought that's going to make them intellectually, spiritually, socially, morally powerful, then you're going to lose your woman. Because unfortunately in our church, in our community, church and the members of church is where the power is. Unfortunately, that's, if you look at pastors and ministers, they don't want to ride in the nice cars and the nice houses or whatever the case may be. So,
in a community
yeah,
destroyed.
right. So, I mean, you have to show Black women the power that resides. I don't think the world has really seen the power yet of Black men, and so it's kind of that. I don't want to get off on that, but yeah, the world hasn't seen the brilliance of Black men yet, and so once the Black man knows who he is, then, like I said, your woman will submit.
Um,
Oh, Sister Amani, brother DeAndre has a question. He says, "Why do submitting get a bad look in our community?"
Brother D, I believe it's a bad look in our community because people are abusing that word submission, and like the definition said, it's like relinquishing, who you are over to someone else. And also, in our community, I mean, what is the mission again? What is the vision for the community? What could we sub or fall up under? I mean, and as we know, there's not, a real clear in some cases there's not a real clear vision in the community, and a lot of our men do not have a real clear vision for the household. I'm not saying that all of them are like that, but there are some that just do not have a real clear vision for the household. So therefore, they're out of control, and they're trying to force a woman to be up under them, or force her to control where she goes and everything, because they are lacking. And then they are lacking what they need to be as a man in some cases.
Just want to take a moment also to welcome Sister Tashina, Tasha, the other half of Brother DeAndre. Thank you for joining us as well. Sister Rhonda Harrison, thank you for your continued support of us. Family, were there any questions or comments that we missed that you would like for us to address? I know we kind of danced around some of them, but if there is any questions that you all would like for us to address, please type them in the comments. Okay, Brother Michael, the Scranton Wayne, says, for the sisters on the panel, is submission a two-way thing or something for women only? Sister Lisa, would you like to answer that question?
I would say, is submission only for women? I think it's a two-way street. And I'm going to say that because my program, Go Forth and Sustain, it serves two populations, ex-offender and homeless, which is a great proportion number of our brothers, our kings, are incarcerated, have been homeless. So therefore, it puts the sister in a very unique and dynamic position as far as maintaining and running the households. So as far as submission, I think that's kind of a two-way street. As our brothers, no pun intended for our brothers, we have got to do more. They've got to do more with the life skills, their mission, their reasonings, relationships. They've got to do more in order for sisters who've wearing so much of the world on her shoulders, whether it's the kids, work, family issues, him being incarcerated, can't find work, just being a black man, period. So that's one of those, for me, that's a two-way street. Men, because of how they've raised, because of society beating on them, they're not going to let a woman tell them what to do. She doesn't have a voice, and that's not right. I'm like, back to Queen Amani. That's not right. Nobody says I'm going to get married or I'm going to date Bob, and all of a sudden I can't talk. I don't have a voice. His thoughts are my thoughts. They are my thoughts. We're in unity. We're building common ground. We're reaching at common goals. But just to follow what? A man because the man just to follow the woman because, well, she leave the street. It's only gonna work when both are giving and not just look and take from the other. That's unity. Relationships are unified. It's a give and take, that we're both giving of each other. Hey, no, that is just not for women. It's for both.
Thank you. I'm going to ask a question that came from one of our viewers. Okay, so I'm going to ask this in the form of a question. Black Gun? Okay, all right. Brother Black Gun says that every woman is dealing with past hurts in present relationships. I want to know, I want us to address how does that affect submitting to a black man, having the past hurts in present relationships. How does that affect or make it difficult to submit to a black man? Sister Amani?
You know, I can only say what I can only say for myself, the way I feel about that. I would say I personally have a problem with disrespect, whether it be a past relationship, present relationship, it doesn't matter. A mother, brother, sister, uncle, neighbor, friend. If there's an issue with being disrespected, then I probably won't be on your side. So my past relationships really, I mean, as for, you know, being submissive has nothing to do with how, you know, I'm feeling right now. The word is disrespect. If you disrespect me, you couldn't get any type of submission from me at all. And plus you couldn't get any type of submission from me anyways, because, excuse me, because it means that I lose myself. You know, I can respect you, but if I got to lose myself, just count me out.
Sister Lisa? The question was to address
I would answer that question twofold. How past relationships, I can hear you, hon. Can you repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. The question was, how does past relationships or being hurt in past relationships affect
Lakeisha, can you repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. Could she not hear me? Can you hear me, Sister Lisa?
I can now.
Okay. The question was, how does past relationships, being hurt in past relationships, how does that affect you submitting in your present relationship? Sister Lisa, check your connection.
Oh, okay. I would answer that twofold. In past relationships, like connection. Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, Sister Lisa.
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
I'm going to say that for me, it was twofold. I'm like Amani. I grew up in a sense where I was told to be independent. So I had my own voice, I had my own thoughts, I had my own mind. I have dated prior to my king, before marriage, guys that really, because of how they were raised, they needed submissive. We didn't match. We didn't match. When it comes to certain things, just tell me what to do, what to say, how to respond. I'm not going to give up who I am for a relationship in a sense. So I think it's one of those, it's just twofold. My past relationships did not allow me not to submit. I just I believe in respect and unified relationships. I don't believe in one dominating the other, whether it's male or female. My husband and I, we share roles in the household. So it's not as if I have women roles. I don't have wife roles. I don't have to just do laundry by myself. I don't have to cook by myself. So I do what works for my relationship, and that's worked for me for almost 22 years. So I think as an individual, I can't say that my past hurts. It's just what you do for yourself as an individual. I just knew I wasn't going to lose who Lisa was for a relationship, and I was willing to be by myself.
Thank you, Sister Lisa. There's a few comments out of the audience here that I'm going to read. Brother Will Lamar says, man and woman are complementary partners. Brother Gary Childress says, black women are not supposed to submit. They are the head of humanity. We'll address that one. And Brother Gregory Carter says, no relationship will be successful between a man and a woman with a woman leading. Let's see. Sister Rhonda stated that submitting is okay as long as the black woman can keep her voice. Black men have to learn as well as the black woman. And then Brother Gary also made the comment that the black man started to follow the Abrahamic religions, which is anti-female. Let's address Brother Gregory here. Says no relationship will be successful between a man and a woman with a woman leading. Sister Monty, what are your thoughts on a woman leading a relationship, and can that relationship be successful?
I would have to ask Brother Gregory, what area was he referring to when he says, a woman leading? You mean a woman leading in raising the children, a woman leading in the orchestration of the household, a woman leading in basically taking control over everything and making the household run, so that when her husband does return home, he just, kicks up his foot and looks at television. What leadership role is he talking about? If a woman is a house wouldn't go well if she's leading, because from what I'm understanding and from what I've done in the past, I've had to lead. If not, we would be living under a bridge. So, I mean, to lead in the role of raising children, to lead in the role of going to get, monies for food and house and stuff like that, I had to lead. But if there is a relationship or a marriage or something that I was, given a decision whether to be in this relationship where I am put up under, then it probably wouldn't work. So, I just have to ask him again, and what way are you referring a woman, in her leadership role?
Rashida, what are your thoughts on a woman? Hopefully, Gregory will reply in the comments as to what to go in the depth of what he was talking about. But
I think Sister Manny said it best. We are the leaders. We're the formers. That's what we do. That's our job as the woman. Our job is to form people, whether that be a man, child, woman, child. That's our job. Our job is to lead. We are the first teachers. As far as the man goes, he goes out and he'll work. This is for married couples. He'll go out, he'll work, he'll bring the bacon home. But guess what? Who has to fry that bacon so that he can be nourished, so that he can be strong enough to go to work? That's our job. So we do lead. So yeah, I'm interested to find out what do he mean by women leading, because our job is to lead. That's what woman means. You're the guider. Give guidance. You give love. Love is what inspire you to get up and do what you do every day. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. All right. What's something?
Turkey bacon.
Right. Let's make sure it's turkey bacon or vegan bacon for Brother DeAndre. But I wanted to say, as far as, once again, I think this comment once again is taken from a Eurocentric perspective. Because once again, you have African cultures where women can be king. So my question to him and any other brother that thinks like him would be, do you want a woman, if you take on this idea that you're going to train her, she's going to submit to you, she's under your control, do you want a woman that if something was to happen to you, couldn't step in and step up? That's what, a lot of the perspective is that you have this woman who, I understand men want to be needed. That's something natural to them. They want to be needed. But do you want a woman who is so submissive to, she can't do anything without you? Everything has to be balanced. And so Black women have unfortunately had to be man and woman in a lot of relationships. And men have to understand that when you get with a Black woman, that is what you're going to have to deal with. And if you are not on top of your game as Black men, one, you shouldn't even be dealing with a woman, period. It's like Sister Imani said, if you don't have a mission, you don't need a woman. If you ain't doing nothing, leave sisters alone, period. And that's what we get into is, we want to play around and bed hop and do all these things and then turn around and look and say, oh, well, the Black woman is this and the Black woman is that. But you done bed hopped for the last 15 years, then left a trail of bad relationships, and all of a sudden, you want to holler about what Black women are. Well, Minister Farrakhan said there's no such thing as a no good woman. And if there is one, she was made no good by no good man. So you have to deal with that. We need each other, period. The Black man and Black woman need each other. It is I'm not even going to say a 50-50. It's 100% on both sides. And what works for you and your family is what you need to roll with. So if your woman, leading in some instances is working for you, then so be it. What goes on in your household and how you run your kingdom is on you. We have to get out of, having this cookie cutter relationship, these reality TV show relationships. That's not our life. And most of us know that that's not our life. So we have to figure out what works for us in our home, because if you get into it, a lot of Black women make more money than men. 50 years ago, that might not have been the deal. So, so that might not have been the deal. So for you to be thinking that your wife is gonna be June Cleaver when you come into the house when she done been out working 8 to 10 hours, that's not gonna work. So therefore, you have to recreate what your heaven is, and it's gonna exist between you and your woman, and what works for you and your mate. So we have to rethink and unprogram ourselves from this cookie cutter TV type relationship as Black women, because or as Black men and women, because that doesn't work for us. The dynamics have changed.
Well, I think I'm off mute. May I speak to that in regards to the role and the cookie cutter relationships? My husband and I, we're unique in our relationship. You would say that the roles, if you were looking at it in some sort of way, you would say the roles are reversed, because my husband does not work, and I don't think he should work. He's a retired Marine, and I don't think he should work because he's done his job in the United States Marine Corps. And as for myself, I do work. I do have what they call a 9 to 5. But when I get home, I don't have to do anything but lay here and look pretty. Because when I get home, the laundry is already done. The food is already done. Everything. When I walk out the door in the morning, he walks me to the door and stands there and make sure he opens the door. So I don't do door handles. but you know, he sees that in out, and you know, he sees that everything is in its order. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of, in I guess in this society you would think that would be role reversal, but that's what makes our relationship work. You know, I believe that he was a godsend because 7 years prior to him, I was a single parent and I was doing everything on my own and had never experienced anybody that would reach out and care for me as much as he does. I believe that he was my blessing sent from the divine. And you know, and I wouldn't dare throw what society thinks inside of our relationship to contaminate it. You know, to say you better get up out of here and get a job. What? The man did 10, 20 years in the Marine. I say, stay home, baby, chill. You know, you did your thing. And I'm not saying that he don't have an income. I'm just saying that, you know, even with an income, he can still go out and do a job. I say, baby, chill. Wait for me. I'll be home. So that's just all I had wanted to say in regards to the roles and the role reversal in my relationship.
Yeah. All right. There was a question, Sister Lisa. It says, who has the final say so in the decision-making process?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I guess that just depends on your relationship. We have a rule. My husband's retired Navy, so unlike Brother Mark, he does work. So for he and I, it's the decision making. We make decisions together. It's no final say so. He's the man, and woman, I've said this, and this is the way it goes. No, we come up with a plan. We work it out. He has his little pros and cons. I have mine. And then we try to execute it to that's going to be the most beneficial for our relationship. But again, as my husband, as the king of our household and the leader, if there's something that he's dead set against and we've had, you know, almost like a draw, then I'm going to lead more towards his way, being he's the man, because my husband isn't that type of man. We usually come to agreements. It may take us a couple of days, and even with his process, he may need a week or two, and he'll tell me that. But if he's just no about something immediately, I'm usually going to go with his no, because he's usually a little bit more, he's a lot lenient. So if he's just dead against something, I usually take heed. There's a reason behind that.
Who makes the final decision? I think it really, like you said, Sister Lisa, it really depends on the relationship that you and your spouse have. For me in my household, at the end of the day, yes, he's going to make the decision. However, wise enough to know that we're going to discuss it, and then whichever one sounds the best, whatever we come to sounds the best, we'll take a little bit of what he believes, a little bit of what I believe, and voila, that's our answer. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about what makes sense for us. So that's what makes our decision. What makes sense? Not because you said it or I said it. Whatever makes sense.
All right. Let's see, brother. Here's another question. Brother Mike on these comments, I'm telling you. I want to address something right quick, and then we'll get to brother. Brother Will Lamar says there's a good book from the 90s by Sister Shahrazad Ali, The Black Man Guide to Understanding the Black Woman and The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. I've read both books, and another brother said in our comments that the Black woman doesn't know her role in the relationship. And so once again, I have to address the issue. Yeah, Brother Gary says Black women have to stop being selfish, and everything is all about them. Okay. You know, to each his own. I'm gonna try to be respectful, but we're not gonna generalize all black women. Unfortunately, maybe the ones that you ran into were like that. But the women that I've been around, like I said, we work, we're moms, we're wives, we're lovers. You know, we are the most unselfish people. I mean, I've met women who have put their hopes and not their hope, but their dreams and their visions for themselves on the back burner in order to support, their husband's dreams or whatever the case may be. And then once he's up and going, then they start on their own dreams or whatever. But what we have to stop once again, and I'm going to keep saying that, is this black man versus black woman thing. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. And I understand we've been hurt. We've hurt each other. Black men have hurt black women have hurt black men. But at some point in time, we must elevate ourselves morally, spiritually, intellectually to know that that's a system. So for us to keep feeding into, the black woman is selfish and the black man has to do, we have to get away from that. Because if you're wise enough to suggest these books, Sister Shahrazad Ali also talks about, what is called the unseen hand and, how white people and European people have set up a system for us to look at each other this way. So although I thank you for the suggestion of the books, but I also want to let you know that this sister also put out that, like I said, there's a system that set us up to be this way. So, like I said, as far as black women being selfish, no, we're not. Definitely, we're not going to do that at all. So,
I
go
want
ahead.
to answer this. This ties into that.
Mm-hmm.
It says, do you have to love to submit?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody have their own definition of submit. So do you have to love to submit? No. Submit, for your definition, is who you are as a person. It's not about who it is that you're submitting to. So for me, like I said, submission means working together as a team. You submit to your brothers and sisters. You submit to your mother and your father.
Right.
It's about being a team. So do you have to love this person? No. Should we be loving everybody? Absolutely. But do you have to be in love to submit? Absolutely not, because that's supposed to be who you are anyway. Don't change who you are because of who you're with.
Yeah. Let's see. We have some more questions. Sister Rhonda says relationships have to be balanced. Black men have to understand that black women require I think that would be what black women require and want. See, exactly, Sister Amani. Every relationship is different. You are a considerate woman, and that is an excellent quality. Blessings to you. That's from Sister Rhonda, Sister Amani. Let's see. Any other?
What is the meaning of saying I paid the cost to be the boss and no romance without finance?
You know what?
What does that mean, Sister Lisa?
What?
I think
You're on
we
mute.
all have paid. Okay, let me see. Get you
We
unmute
can
me?
hear you. Yes.
ma'am.
I think in that case, I think we have all paid the cost to be the boss, and so at some point or another. Those are just old cliches that really, to me, are senseless. You paid the cost to be what boss, and the boss to who? I mean, unless you're an entrepreneur, you're running a business, you have employees. Really, you're not saying you're the boss over the family. Maybe the children because they're minors. And then still within boundaries, are you really just trying to have that kind of control and stronghold over the kids? And as far as the other one, really, I just think we do too much as a people. We need to rise above so much of the old adages and the paradigms. It's time for a wave of movement, a paradigm shift for us as a people. As Lakeisha said earlier, my way may not work for you. Her way may not work for me. There may be another sister out there that think Queen Sister Amani is just off for her bonkers, that her husband isn't working. I'm a sister that's trying to get to the level where she's at because my husband himself has retired 21 years military. So no, it's not about paying the cost to be the boss. I was single. So I paid the cost for the years that I was single. And the black man in my life at the time didn't man up. He didn't do what he was supposed to. I had to go find another brother, king, that would step up. So I could take on a little crazy stank attitude. Well, I paid the cost to be the boss and just create havoc.
Sister Amani. So I have a question for you.
Oh, okay. I thought we was on. Pay the cost to be the boss.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I mean, show me the money. Something I don't know, but that's you go with your question.
No, no, ma'am. You want to go ahead and answer that question about? She said, "Show me the money." Okay.
To me, again, when someone says that they pay the cost to be the boss, or that word boss means what? A boss is over you. You know what I'm saying? You're to submit to this boss, and you're to do what this boss tells you to do. And a lot of times they have rules and regulations and laws that you must adhere to. I mean, the boss has that. So a lot of times you don't even have input on what they're going to do within the organization. You are to submit under their mission or whatever they have, for you to do. But when you're in a relationship, it shouldn't be no bossy this, and no bossy that. We're together. We came together to collaborate as a team in order to move forward, especially in this earth realm, to make it from here to wherever we need to go. And someone said something earlier about when I spoke about mission. I mean, and the thing is that we should get with someone who is on the same mission. You know what I'm saying? The same mission as us. And then some of this stuff will be, kind of left off. And I guess that's where they come with the unequally yoked things from. So that's all I have to say is just that, how much did you pay to be my boss? So go ahead.
All right. So I want to ask you this, Sister Amani. How do you bridge the gap? Everybody has their perspective on what submission means and what it looks like to them. So how do you bridge the gap so that this works for you? How do you bridge that gap?
I can say this, that I highly respect my king. Like I said on the last video, he's my everything. You know what I mean? And how I bridge the gap is his character, his integrity commands the respect from me, commands me to want to nurture him, commands me to want to love him. I would gladly go that extra mile for my king. Although he does these things for me and treats me just as he says a queen, I would go the extra mile for my king. There is nothing that he should be lacking of. I won't let it happen. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they say, you the woman, you're not supposed to. No, I will not allow my husband to want for anything. His integrity and his character commands that respect from me.
Okay. We're gonna address these ones. All right. So, Sister Lisa, Brother Michael asked, so if a sister agrees to be a housewife because the husband has it where she can do so, does her voice still carry the same weight?
Most definitely. Because again, we're talking about the respect and unification of the relationship. Being a housewife is work. And that's another thing. That's just an underpaid service. Being a housewife, I've been one of her too. It's work. you're doing what society deems that you should be, or what a housewife, when you look up the definition of it. So that means for the most part, you've kept the kids, you've cleaned the house, things are in order. So just because I'm a housewife does not mean I should have a voice. Of course I have a voice. And I do know people in that situation where they're not working. It does not matter what they say. There's total control. And again, we're back to what Queen Amani said earlier. And that goes to the submissive. What are you and your definition for submissive is? Because if you have a husband that thinks being submissive is about control and manipulation, because that's for a lot of them, that is what it's about, then you may suggest your wife doesn't work, and that's why you don't want her to work, because you want to control her, you want to manipulate her, you don't want her to have a mind, you don't want her interacting with other women. I was a housewife and I still had a voice. It did not define, and my husband did not look at me any less because I didn't work. As a matter of fact, I am working for myself now. I'm working on my program. A lot of times I have time around the house to keep the house up, to do things. That's not a requirement of him because I'm not getting a paycheck from someone. He's not coming in and looking at me telling me, what are you talking for, because I'm not working. He knows the common cause. He knows what we're striving to get to, so he's a support. As a matter of fact, he suggested, little mama, just do your own thing. So no, that doesn't, I don't think that should deviate, and that doesn't lessen the woman of having a voice because she's a housewife. That saddens me.
Thank you, Sister Lisa. Let's see. Girl Gone Natural made a comment. She says, I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. There were things I took care of, and he made sure the money kept flowing. Never disrespected me because I wasn't making money. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Exactly. Brother Bruce Muhammad says the different views definitely explain why the divorce rate is so high. It appears that men and women are so far apart in ideas. I would like for him to, well, actually, Sister Rashida asked him to explain his views. He says he's in no place to speak for men in general, and he'll reserve his viewpoints. I think for us, it's a little more in depth than us having different views, so to speak. One thing that Black people were not taught, and Brother Bruce knows this, Dr. Elijah Muhammad said, we weren't taught the art of mating. We don't know how to choose a mate. We don't know what to look for. And I can tell by just the conversation, like I said, that we still continue to look at ourselves in a Eurocentric Western way. And that is the crux of our issue as Black men and women. We look at each other as adversaries, where we're vying for power. And in the midst of all of this, we're producing children and whatnot. And so we don't have solid family bases at all. So it's a little more than just having different views. The women that you have heard today have been in relationships, are in committed relationships for a number of years. And so I think we just have to really sit down at the table and be upfront for those of us that are dating and trying to be married. We have to know what we want, period. That's what Black men want. That's what Black women want. I want to know that I'm going to be in a relationship that's going somewhere and doing something. And so, you know, if we're not ready to take on the responsibility, because having a Black woman is a responsibility. Having a woman, period, is a responsibility. And so if you're not ready to take on that, if you want to go into this blindly and naively thinking you getting, you know, a virgin who ain't never been hurt, ain't never been, then, you know, that's something you have to address within yourself. Let's be real with each other and move forward and build healthy relationships. The divorce rate among us can be attributed to a whole bunch of things inside and outside our communities. But I appreciate the comment, Brother Bruce. Yeah.
Can I expound on that?
Sure.
For me, I believe that divorce rate comes from a lack of trust We don't trust each other. You come into the relationship not trusting because of your past experiences. It has nothing to do with that new person. And then you have to remember that that person over there that you're introducing yourself to, sometimes you're not 100% to yourself. So you're not showing them who you really are. And then that person, they have their hurts, and now both of y'all hurting people who scared to show who they really are because of their past issues. I think last week Sister Manny had said that even in her current relationship, she still has to work on the things that, caused her to feel pain. We all have that. It's just we're not open and honest to say, hey, I'm still hurting, but I think you're a good brother, or I think you're a good sister. Let's work together. Let me help heal you and you help heal me. It's about feeling off of each other, going back and forth. I give to you, you give to me. You're going to take from me, I'm going to take from you, so that we can become one within ourselves and as a unit. So divorce rate isn't about our viewpoint. It's about merging those viewpoints together.
Right.
For me. Sister Manny, you have something to say? Go ahead.
This divorce thing, I think I divorced the man because he wasn't doing the right thing. I couldn't live with him no more. So I wouldn't say that the divorce rate was because of, some submission problem or something like that. I can say that, my father recently passed. My parents, they had been married like 47 years, from the time that they were teens. And I believe that one of the things that did keep them together, that he was loyal. I didn't have to hear about my father having 5 and 10 other children out in the neighborhood. He was a provider. Not only did he take care of his family, he provided jobs for a lot of the guys in the neighborhood. He was a nobleman. You know what I mean? But it all boils down to your character, your morals, how you respect your queen, how you respect your household. And again, how you manage your household, if you want to say boss or what have you. There's a whole lot of things that are causing the divorce rate, and some of it is not geared toward submission. Some are, it's human error, ego, and a whole bunch of other things that cause people to go and have to get a divorce. And one of the reasons why I believe that people are not staying together as long as they used to, who gonna put up that foolishness? You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get married, but it's easy to get a divorce too. You might in some states you gotta wait a year, and by the time you file with a lawyer, it might be another 6 months or what have you. But it's easy to say, look, you mistreated me, you talked down on me, you called me, like my husband say, a garden tool, you know what I'm saying, or a female dog, you know what I mean? You called me all these things, and you expect me to do what? We don't go together no more.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Sister Lisa, would you like to expound on the subject?
I also think when it comes to divorce, for us culturally as a people, divorce in the Black community is about 78%. And so I just personally feel it's a disconnect. Not only trust, infidelity, we don't know how to seek help when help is needed. A lot of marriages, I think, can be saved if we went and spoke with someone, whether it was a life coach, counselor, if you are in churches or you're part of the religious sect, someone in the religious community. We have to do better as a people to keep the family units together. And again, we do what was taught. If you didn't come up in that environment where your parents were married or the people in your circle stayed married for any length of time, you just did what you wanted to do. So I think that was it as well.
All right. Let's see. There was another comment here. Brother Larry. Okay. Brother Larry said there is no competition between a man and a woman because God sits at the head of man. Man sits at the head of mother, and mother sits at the head of child. That's the order of things. The black man has been broken. The black woman has been broken. The black family has been broken. So we all got to do is have a perfect love, and perfect love casts out fear. Fear causes us to hold back the love. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Who else? I want to put about open relationships. We want to address that.
Oh yeah.
Brother here says, Will Lamar says he personally don't agree with open relationships, but is an open relationship okay? More and more black couples are buying into this trend. Well,
really believe that is to each his own. I can't even expound on that. Whatever works in your relationship, work in your relationship. I think, I don't know why is it a trend now, but I know in the past, like, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, men had multiple wives for good reason. At least, to them, it was a good reason. I'm going to take this wife on because her husband died. Who's going to provide for her and her children? So it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If you don't work together with your queen, how can she take care of your family if something happened to you? So in those times, they took on those women because they didn't know how to provide for themselves. They did not work. They did not handle the finances. So in the past, there was a reason for you to take on another wife. And then those sister wives, embrace them with love. This woman just lost her husband. Come on, I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to show you some love. My husband going to show you some love. And we're going to take care of you and your family. It's called unity. But nowadays, I don't know, if they taking a man to say, hey, I got 2 men or I got 2 women. I really don't know what that's all about. But I feel like families should unite. Families should work together. But that's a whole nother topic about, merging families and having extra husbands and wives. Because, in other countries, women have multiple husbands. And they got this one wife and they all share this one woman. So we can get on that topic, but we ain't going to do that today.
That was okay. All right. Let's see. Do we have any other comments? I'm looking through to see if I have any comments that I missed.
Brother Larry says most women don't know how to deal with a man because there was no man in their life to teach them. There's some truth to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of truth to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And and once again, we as a black community, things have happened to us. Like I said, we both been hurt. But I know back when I was younger, and it wasn't too long ago, even if you had a sister that didn't have, or younger who didn't have a father, they still had an uncle or a grandfather or someone in that family that could step in and be a father figure to her. And so now I think in this day and age, our children are bombarded so much with negative imagery of black men, and unfortunately a lot of times that's reinforced in the community because we as a people have lost our way. We've lost the respect for one another, and unfortunately when that happens between black men and women, then the children suffer. So like I said, that is a problem in our community that we have to, and like I said, there's no reparation with that. There's no place for us to go and get repaired on either side. Black, because you have a lot of single moms that have raised boys and they don't have a balanced view of women. And so then they go out and try to get married, and have relationships with women, and they don't have a balanced view because a lot of times black women get bitter. They get angry that now I have to take care of a child by myself because dad is not there for whatever reason. So, like I said, there's a lot of issues in that dynamic. So like I said, we need to learn to love one another and address these issues and move forward, in a restorative process. Like I said, 'cause we're good for enumerating all the problems, but then when it comes time for someone to say, okay, I need all the black males to become mentors, then you hear crickets. Or, I want the sisters to get together so we can teach the young sisters how to be, graceful and beautiful, then you hear crickets. So what I want for us as a black family, if we're going to enumerate the problems, let's also be ready to step up and be just as vocal in the solutions. Because like I said before, we need each other. Neither one of us, black men or black women, not going anywhere alone. And like I said, there's a system that as well that helps perpetuate our disunity because they wax rich off of us and our disunity. So like I said, we can move forward with this. And okay, brother, this black gun, correct? How many men have been misled by their fathers that start the trend of black women not wanting to submit to that man's example of a man? Sister Amani, you want to address Brother Black Gun? You're on mute, Sister Amani.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again about the woman not wanting to submit?
Yes, he says how many men he says how many men have been misled by their fathers that start the trend of black women not wanting to submit to the man's example of a man.
When he said misled, that word kind of I think I'm kind of getting mixed up on the question. He's saying how do we stop the trend of what their fathers and their forefathers started by making a black woman feel as if she can't submit to a man. Like I said previously, that one of the ways that you can stop this trend is by being a person of character and integrity, showing love to your woman and treating her as equal as the better half. You know what I mean? I believe that going forward, when a man starts to treat a woman differently, a black woman or a black man, when he starts to treat women differently, then things will begin to change.
Okay. Sister Lisa, did you hear the question? Sister Lisa,
I did not, hun.
Okay, so the question that Brother Blackgun was basically he's stating that many fathers have misled their, I guess it'd be their sons, in their representation of what a man is supposed to be. And so how is it that when a father is not being a positive role model in the way he treats mom, how the way he treats sisters, how the way he treats auntie, and that makes it where he was saying black women don't want to submit to the man's example of a man. So he's asking, he says, how many men have been misled by their fathers that start the trend of black women not wanting to submit to the man's example of a man? That's his question.
Is he saying because there was no father in the home?
He said that there was a father, but the father misled the son. And this, is that what he's saying?
He says, how many men have been misled by their fathers that start the trend of black women not wanting to fit to that man due to the example of the father?
Well, I'm going to say personally, I didn't have any brothers. I am the oldest of 7 girls. So if I had to be, and we had to follow my father's example, none of my sisters would submit. None of my sisters would consider it. None of them would think about it. I'm the oldest of 7 from 4 different mothers, but my father was a control freak. He was controlling. He was very dominant. Not really nice. He has gotten nicer as he's gotten older, but he wasn't a very nice man. So if that was the example as a boy, that if we had had brothers to follow, I don't think if we had brothers, none of their wives would have been submissive. They wouldn't have followed the lead if I had brothers, because my dad wouldn't have done a great job at preparing him for that. I just don't think. And so I do think in the Black community, the father does play a significant role. If he's not kind and gentle, nurturing, loving to his wife, of course, the male child is going to duplicate the role of the father. So if his terminology is submissive, woman, bow down to me, have my plate, cook of food on the table, do my laundry, you don't work, you don't have a voice, I boss you and control the house. If the boy child sees that, then he's going to try to emulate that in some manner. And this day and time, I just don't think that would be to his advantage. I just don't think that's going to be conducive to no one's needs. Marriage is, I don't even say 50-50. Marriage is 100%, 200%. Each person giving 100% of themselves through trial and error, through the good, the bad, the indifferent. We're coming together for a common purpose. If it's not going to work, then we're going to have some issues when it does start to feel like manipulation and control. And I'm still speaking only for myself. I don't like it. I don't like it whether it's from man or woman. I don't like the feeling of control and manipulation.
We can go on blackpeoplemeet.com and get somebody real quick. So, excuse me. Control, you know, they got tags out there and all of them. What they say, plenty of fish. Okay.
Thank everyone for tuning in to us today. I really enjoyed the comments and the questions. I also want to remind everyone about Make Money, Make Sense Mondays with Brother Bruce Muhammad and Nicole Blackman. Also, the Black Love Family page is going to have the Brother to Brother Talks on Tuesdays with Brother Amari and Brother DeAndre Gillespie. And then, of course, Black Love Thursday with Brother Michael Neal and Brother DeAndre and their guests. And also want to remind everyone about the Black Love Family Cruise that's going on December of this year. And if you all still want to take part in that, get in contact with Brother Michael Neal, and he'll be able to give you the information. It's going to be an awesome cruise. Plus, they're getting married on the cruise, so you can come out and support Brother Michael and Sister Rashida as they become one unit. Also, let's see. Closing, and then also we're going to do a part 2. This was a hot topic, so we're also going to do a part 2 to this topic next week. So for those that missed it or those that joined in and wanted to come and have more things to say, please join us next week as we do a part 2 to this topic as well. What else?
We'll respond on Thursday.
Right. So are we part 2 this on Thursday?
We're hoping that the brothers will respond what submission looks like on Thursday. We don't know what their topic is, but we're hoping that they will respond so that when we do our part 2, we will have their perception in mind when we discuss the rest of this topic.
And please address Brother Houdini, King Louis.
Yes, I got it here. Brother, let's see.
Right here.
Okay, here's the first one. Okay. Brother Houdini King Louis says, first and foremost, we need to get more education on the words and the etymology that we speak now. if we as the original people of the planet go back and honor our ancestors and get back into the mindset of the culture, then we will not be as broken as we are now. Please, quote unquote, get out of that 1611 book and stop saying you're black when by etymology black means pale, bleach. Okay. So the truth is, he also said the truth is that women today does not know the actual power they have on the world because our ancestors seen it as that the women gives the man the knowledge and wisdom to understand life. Okay. I just wanted to address that. Like I said, once again, I mean, I agree with him culturally, like I said, honoring the ancestors and going back to our natural way living. There are in African cultures, many of them, where it is the woman who crowns the king. So he's right on that night. And I do believe that we as women do not realize how much power we actually have. So, like I said, this topic will go on next week. On Thursday, the brothers are going to respond and give us their perspective on what submission means to them. And the sisters will come back on next Saturday to part 2, our topic here. So once again, I wanted to thank everyone for coming and joining us. Sister Amani, you have any closing remarks for the family today?
No, I just want to say that I love my king. Don't hold me. But anyway, say that I love all of our black men out there. I am proud of you. You made tremendous advancements. I believe that we can overcome this and that we can become one. You know, I just can't, you know, we're black women, but I just don't know what we would be without our kings.
Absolutely. Sister Lisa, your closing remarks on the topic?
She just left.
Is she? Okay, well, Sister Rashida gets to give her closing remarks then.
Sister Manny, I'm going to piggyback off what you said. You said you don't know what we would do without our kings. You're absolutely right. They are the gift that keeps giving, and we are the gift that keeps giving. Without one another, there's no life. There's no growth. There's no community. There's no kingdom to share. So, love you, black kings. We love you, black queens. Let's unite. Let's keep having these conversations. So when you get off of this broadcast, go and talk to your king or your queen and find out what their perception is of submission, because that is the issue. We don't talk about what it means to us. If your view doesn't align with my view, then we probably won't make it. And then if I hear your view and it makes more sense than what I thought, then maybe we'll start working towards being on one page. So sit down and have these conversations. That's what this is about. Talking to our sisters with one another so we can go back and talk to our kings so that we can maybe teach them something and they can teach us something. That's what this is about.
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm going to just agree. I'm just going to agree. I look forward, like I said, I look forward to next week. And I just want to thank everyone for their continued support of the Super Sisters Saturday. So once again, I thank you. I thank you, everyone that came out and supported us. And we look forward to seeing you next Saturday for part 2. And like I said, tune into the shows throughout the week. Oh, Sister Lisa has rejoined us. Sister Lisa, you have any closing remarks before we let the people go today?
Can't hear you, Sister. Go ahead.
I would just like to tell everyone to have a splendid Super Saturday and to remember to just love on each other. Marriages take work. Relationships take work. We're in this together, brother and sister. Black love, one love.
I like that. All right. Thank you again, everyone. Have a great evening. Enjoy your Saturday.